Documenting a passing show is a big part of what I do. Often that way. Let me step back out onto the busy street. I don't know. I just know how things seem to me, and I am here now. It's a delightful day. It's day 100 of the new life. I just posted about that. I had the usual experience of having been rendered invisible, in spite of wearing my King Crimson 50th anniversary jacket, which is, considering its back, not at all invisible. But it is what it is. People I've spent about 8 years hanging out with on a regular basis cannot see me any longer or do not acknowledge my presence. And I don't really, go vaulting over their barriers either. I consider myself a little like a vampire. You have to invite me in for me to be a part of your world. But you all are welcome to join and weigh in with whatever you happen to want to say. The passing show is just documentation for historians of the future, potentially. And there's a great deal of beauty to be seen in the world in a flock of pigeons making their way partially onto that building and then swooping back around, attempting a different landing. Is everybody going to get one? No, not entirely. There's going to be a little bit of shuffling going on. There they are. Everybody's roosted. Got some jets going over. And I like to do this. I like to flip open the little flight radar, find out where those jets are going. So I've got one. And continue. Uh, it's not far away. Just taking off for Charlotte, North Carolina. Then above that, there's several making their way the distance. One up there, I would say, is probably small jet. So I'm pointed that way. A few of them. Very hard to say exactly which ones they are. There's one out of Leesburg, well down there. It looks like it's probably, it's hard to say. There's one going to St. Louis, going to Minneapolis. I doubt those are them, though. These guys are at really high altitude. Considering my angle, probably ID to San Francisco, maybe ID to Minneapolis. No, probably not them either. Very difficult to say who they are, where they're at from this angle. Yep. Oh, oh. The other one going up out of Nashville, though, passing right in front of me. He's heading to Orlando, Florida. And so it goes. Turning it back on. See Sarah Nisdorf has joined. You're a paying subscriber of some folks. That's wonderful. I think that people in Substack who know enough to pay for their subscriptions to different writers are really moving the needle in a positive direction because Substack itself takes a slice and keep this platform going and growing. And it is a stupendously, I think, richly enhanced platform with a great deal of smarts built into it that allow us to get our signals out through the noise, the new face of publishing, the new face of journalism. And this is a piece of it, the passing show, which just generally gives a little bit of who, what, when, and where. I don't really any other kind of axe to grind other than we exist. We perceive and we weave in our own experience into the fabric of experience for everybody else, depending on whether we're receptive to it and can pay attention to it. Now, the information glut in which we swim now, the data glut, means that we barely can pay attention. We barely can pick up the signals through the noise. What's important? I think being is important. I think that being human doings cause a lot of our issues. It's kind of wide ranging. I could be wrong. I just know how things seem to me. They seem to me as if we don't matter much as individuals. The world fills in the space we were in pretty rapidly. We become more and more invisible with age. And I'm watching myself do that, becoming invisible. There's a text by Ram Dass called Becoming Nobody, a film by the same name, which he discusses the same concept. Eventually, we all become nobody. We're somebody while we breathe and are incorporeal, corporeal, I guess the word is, incarnate, and incarnate, insulate. I don't know. I just know how things seem to me. I'm doing a little wordplay just for my own amusement. It may be decipherable, it might not be. Doesn't matter. What matters? What matters? Well, everything or nothing. It all matters. It's a book by my friend Joseph Wooten, who I have just bounced into a couple of times, but I've amplified him. He said we all need good amplifiers. Every musician needs a good amplifier. And that's what I tend to be. But the music is not necessarily melodic. It's not necessarily melodic, but it can be. It has rhythm, it has texture, it has intonation. So the voice, the human voice, the phonemes that can be laced together and then interpreted. That's an amazing thing, right? That we can interpret phonemes and then make thoughts happen at a distance if we understand each other's language, our codes we use to communicate things of value. What is of value? I mean, you take any one of these vehicles flying by and you can just see the price tags attached to them and their relative values in the blue book. It'd be easy to mash that up these days, linking just the visual data about those vehicles. You could also pick up information about their condition of their engines based on the sound. All this metadata being scooped up, converted to ones and zeros, and then coded in such a way that it can be interpreted by the processors out there that some young folks have had the smarts to put together in these patterns that we all perceive. I've got so many texts on the subject. I could dig into those. Right now, thinking I'd really like an antacid. See the car underneath the changing leaves? It's beautiful out here. I probably will come back out after putting some charge in the phone and do some walking. Ooh. I've got another thing to do at 1:00 with a lady in London, my coach, Charlotte Del Signore. So we'll get on with Charlotte, talk to her. I've already seen something of her this morning as I was getting up and doing my ablutions. Look at all these young kids, obviously on a tour of some form, probably a school trip. The world they're going to be seeing, the world that they are going to be seeing, the world that they perceive. I was doing a thing on Gen Z earlier today, amplifying a signal through the noise. And I don't know, I hope it hits some pay dirt. Foreign policy and world politics. I keep looking at that book, National Affairs, old periodicals. This winter 2013. How to Regain America's Lost Balance. What is Upward Mobility? Conservative Case Against Casino Finance. The Sad Irony of Affirmative Action. Completing the Work of Welfare Reform. The Risks of Quasi-Capitalism. Innovation and Inequality by John O. McGinnis. That just looks like it's got to be taken out of there. A Fool's Errand. What's a Fool's Errand? Is that a novel? Creating the National Museum of African American. Well, founding director. Look at that. If you're out there, grossing one of a kind, so, the greatest thing in the world. Well, pocket that too. The Greatest Thing in the World by Drummond is part of, if I'm not mistaken, Recovered Bibles. And that's on my mind. Everything's on my mind all the time. I'm just this running cascade of different impressions, different pieces of cultural knowledge or awareness, fragments. These fragments I assured against my ruins and definitely need an antacid. Pain. So we re-enter the bunker. And there you are. Mark S. has joined. You subscribe to people too at a paid level. That's wonderful to see. Me too. And I am, if nothing else, a hub. Yep. Onward and upward, folks. Keep on keeping on. Be the change you want to see. And every cent spent is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating. So keep that in mind. We are Homo economicus anymore. That's one power we have. And if we'll exert it, we can change the world. Keep coming back. And be a good ancestor.